Hello everyone. So today we are going to work on how to detect wrong ingredients added to the pot according to the recipe. Now here we have potato and chicken. So when I put potato, it marked in green as added, but if I put apple, which is a wrong ingredient, now see apple, and it says wrong ingredient, and I get the option to reset the pot. So if I reset the pot, all two ingredients that were already added is cleared out and I can restart now. Potato and add chicken, so it becomes now ready to cook. But again, if I add something wrong, ready to cook is gone, wrong ingredient shows up here like this, and reset. So yeah, this is what we are going to work on today: how to identify wrong ingredients added to the pot and notify the player in the UI. So before we get started, here is the full playlist of this tutorial series. I'll leave the link in description, and you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done in my channel from my Patreon page. Once you become a member, you will be able to access everything without any limits. So feel free to check it out. I'll leave the links in description below. And now let's get back to today's episode. Okay, so let's see what we have right now. Here we have the recipe and the main menu, inventory menu. If I drop, this updates as potato added, and if I add chicken as well, this becomes ready to cook because both ingredients are added. So now the next step is, if I add something wrong into the pot, it should identify something that is not a part of this recipe is added to the pot, and this should become something else, not ready to cook, or something like wrong ingredient added, and then there should be some option to reset the pot. Okay, so let's do that. So first let me open the recipe widget, and here I have this rich text that shows the ingredient list. Let me open this and let's add a new line here. Duplicate, and I'll call it red. So here I'll make it red. So I just need some way to show that there is some wrong ingredient added to the pot. Okay, save. And here let's duplicate this ingredient lists and it down below. So as an example, I'll put something like apple, and I'll make it red here and add the text from ingredient. Okay. Now when this appears, this ready to cook button should disappear, and then I'll add another button to this, and I'll make the color of that the same red. Oh, this should be visible. Oh, sorry, not the color of the text, the color of the button itself. and it should say reset port. And when I click on this, everything in the port should be cleared out, so we can add from the beginning. Okay, so by default, both these items should be invisible. I'll rename this button reset and rich text from ingredient list. Okay, I'll set the visibility of this to collapsed. Okay, now let's go here. We already have this notified dropped ingredient, and here we call this upgrade ingredients list. Maybe not here. We should have another function to update raw ingredients list. Yeah, we should have that. So update raw ingredients. Right, now we can, same as before, we can get the dropped items and iterate through them. Let's run a for each loop, and we can check if any of the items in these dropped items are not present in the recipe. So from the recipe data, we can break, and here we have the ingredients list. We can check contains item, check this. So here, if we find anything that is not present within this ingredients array, that means we have a wrong item added to the pot. So here, let's have a local variable in the type of a string. I call from ingredients list. Should be a string, and then I'll set wrong ingredients list. So basically I would append to this in case we already have some details in the wrong ingredients list. So append, this goes here, and then let's add the new element here. This, and then we, just like in here, we need to have this part which says wrong ingredient. So after the name, I'll add the tab, I'll add the, this is specify red, and then wrong ingredient, and then a new line. Okay, well, maybe we should have dash as well in case we have a list. So it should go here, go here, here, we need a little dash. Here's the new line. Okay, now at the end, if the wrong ingredient list went, well, maybe let's just have a boolean so it's more explicit. Wrong ingredient present, the boolean reset present. By default, this should be false, but here I set it ingredient present to true. And actually, just to true, we can get the previous value here and do O with, oh well, no, not really. Let's just set it to true. That's enough. And here, let's have a branch. If wrong ingredient present, we need to make this button, reset button, and the ingredient list, wrong ingredient list visible. So like this, but visibility. Actually, we don't need a branch here. We can do it this way. We can select visibility based on wrong ingredient present. If it is true, visible. If it is false, these two should be collapsed. And also, we need to hide this ready button. The ready button. Again, select based on it is true, collapsed, false. It should be visible. Opposite of this, but not really. We can't just set this to visible just because we don't have anything wrong present, but we also need to check if we have all the right ingredients. So because of that, we should do something like this. If this is so, here we're gonna need a branch. If this is true, set visibility to collapsed. Otherwise, we shouldn't decide on whether to show this or not. Okay, I think we did enough to test. So did I call that function anywhere? So here, update wrong ingredients. Okay, let's test now. Let's drop an apple. Nothing happened. Oh, sorry. Actually, we should use the false condition here. If this is present, if whatever the dropped item present in the ingredient list, that means it is a correct ingredient. If it is not present, then that means the wrong ingredient. See? Apple, wrong ingredient, reset bot. Why I don't have the tick here? Dash here. Dash. Oh, right. I didn't set the text of this. Rich text, wrong ingredient list, the text with the wrong ingredient list string. Yeah, now it's correct. So the next thing is when I hit reset part, this should be cleared out, and This part also should be cleared out so we can restart. So if I add potato, this is shows as added, and if I add chicken, it also shows as added, but still we don't get ready to cook button because we have a wrong ingredient. Okay, now to do the clear out part. Here, let's add a button on clicked event. Any of this, I'll add a function. No, not a function. I'll add an event dispatcher on reset rest, and I'll call this on reset rest. So from the inventory widget, which contains this recipe, let's register some function to call to bind to this on reset rest. So we can do it like this. Okay. On press on reset bind event to on reset rest. Now here let's create an event. Then here I'll choose create a machine function. So this is the generated function. I'll call it reset pot. The first thing is now we need to clear out the recipe widget, and then we need to clear out everything we dropped into the pot. Now first let's see how to clear the things added to the pot. So here on item released, this is where we spawn those static mesh components, potatoes, apples, everything. Let's store these into an array. I'll call it dropped items. And this should be item component. An array. Items. Add these created components in here so that we have a reference to these created dropped items. Now in the reset pot, I'll go through these dropped items for each loop and let's destroy all of them. Destroy component. And at the end, I'll clear dropped items. Okay, this will not reset the recipe widget, but let's see if this part is working. We put some wrong item. Oh, I added all the correct items. Let me add something wrong. Okay, reset. This is not cleared out. Oh, here we have a problem. It says unregister and mark for finding kill a component. This may not be used to destroy a component that is owned by an actor unless the owning actor is called in the function. Okay. Oh, sorry. Actually, we are spawning static mesh actors. So that's better. So instead of actor components, I'll set them to actor state. Okay, now here instead of adding the component, I can add this actor itself here. So this. Okay, now that this is an actor, I should be able to do this. For rich from the loop, and then set lifespan. I'll set it to something like 1, so they will be deleted. Then clear. Let's test now. Gradient added. Reset. See, they are gone. But this part is not reset. So to reset that, here in the recipe, I'll initialize recipe. Here I can set gradient list and reset button. I'll set both of them to invisible or collapsed. The beginning of initialize part, and here, where do I call it? Initialize recipe. Here. So maybe we should have another function here, something like reinitialize. Reset recipe. Yeah. And then I'll call initialize recipe with the recipe name that we already have. From here, get a reference to the recipe widget. Reset that. Reset recipe. Okay. Right. Let's see. Oops, something wrong. Reset. Okay, it's reset. Potato, chicken, ready to cook. Something wrong. Reset. So yeah, it's working. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for download here in the Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And see you in the next episode. Goodbye.